Hello, everyone. How are you today? Um, as you can see right now, it's just me, Gail Straker, the community manager, and Siobhan Huggins, our very own research specialist. Hi, Siobhan.
Hi.
Anyway, um, our lovely Leslyn is in Morro Bay, California coast, and she says it's her beloved Morro Bay. So we've given her the day off, like like we have a choice, like we get to give less than the day off. And I see we've got three people. We had seven for a minute. We're down to three, so I can tell. Oh, Leslyn's not there, so I'm going. Anyway, I do want to say hi to Julie Rosa. She was the first one. She writes, "Oh boy," she says, "Oh boy, I get to be the first to chat you on YouTube this week. I just got off a terrific session with Nina. Really glad I signed up for it." And she's from Camarillo, California. And I was in that class with Julie. Nina Mendelson is a body peace um, advisor, consultant, expert, and we are taking a course from her. And I will tell you what, learning to be at peace and friendship and developing a friendship with our body is not an easy thing. And so that's what I've been doing. Like you, we all wanted to know what I've been doing. What have you been doing, Siobhan?
I've been helping someone apply for a visa waiver application. It's tedious.
How
And you
tedious
have
is
to
it?
you have to go through every single thing with a magnifying glass and make sure there are zero mistakes because any mistakes can result in application rejection, and then you have to fix it and redo it and blah blah blah. And there's less than 2 weeks until they're supposed to travel. So let's not do that.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be really difficult to think that you're all ready to go, getting ready to board that plane, be packed, ready to go. And oh, look, you forgot to circle this. or
You
or
forgot
you
to say
didn't.
no on this particular question.
Right,
Or a
right.
typo in the address. Anything. You have to be super careful.
Yeah, yeah. And I
So
can
we do have a little bit of a buffer, because it takes up to 72 hours to process. So if you get it wrong the first time, you have a chance for a second try, but you really just don't
wow.
want to go there.
Wow, it sounds like it can be quite stressful. But you know what? You guys have each other to go through this with. So I'm really grateful for that. You're not doing it by yourself, and neither are they. And here comes Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Oh, you guys don't see her yet. Hi, Catherine. Oh, and she's, you want me to keep you on? Bouncing around.
I'm bouncing around. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Yeah, Julie Rosa and Marcia Black just said that the session with Nina was fabulous.
It
So I
was.
was telling everybody that's where we've been with our body peace counselor. Is that her title? Nina Mendelson,
Yeah, she's a
coach,
body peace coach.
which is really important for those of us with lipedema because we are rarely at peace with our bodies. Just
Hmm.
being women, we're not always at peace with our bodies. So
That's true.
um, it's been it's been a wonderful thing. So, Catherine, what have you been up to besides that? Oh.
Thinking very deeply about things.
I'm like, boy, did she not expect me to ask her any questions?
No, I was. I've been uh, trying to get a video fixed, and I can't get the sound to work on it. And I was so absorbed in it, I totally forgot that we had changed the time for the Facebook Live. And I'm like,
I'm oh,
oh crap.
oh crap. I love you, babe. Um, yeah, we had to change the time, and that's one of the reasons I brought up the body peace course that we're taking. with Nina Manelson is because that's why we've had to change the time,
Yeah.
because the course starts at 4 o'clock on Mondays and Fridays. And of course, not only are Catherine and I in that class, but we have several members of our community in that course. And so we wanted to make sure that we could come to you. And so just for until mid-February, we'll be at 5:30 Eastern rather than 4:30 Eastern, and then we'll go back to our regular time. So um, don't forget. I'll
Well,
remind you, and so will Catherine.
there's great feedback about it was a fabulous session. Well, she was talking about rupture and repair, which is so core to any relationship. But I think the thing that she brings is a real reframing of how each one of us have a primary relationship with our bodies. And I think for some of us, for me personally, the relationship that I have is with my mind. I love the relationship I have with my mind. I'm smart. I have spent a lifetime relishing in my intellect. I have 4 degrees. I, I have a bachelor, 2 masters, and a PhD. That's someone who likes to think.
Right, right. And that's interesting because I, when she asked us to write down like a rupture, something that a rupture, my rupture was I always felt fat, ugly, and smart, right? So I was the fat, ugly, smart one, and my sister was the pretty dumb one. Now that's ridiculous. It was really, I didn't sell myself that, but that's how the family treated us. And I think, oh yeah, I have a good relationship with this, with my clicker, with my ticker up there.
Mhm.
But this relationship with this with with my body is not optimal. It's not the best relationship by any means.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
I think that's, I've been working with Nina on and off for the past several years. And I was supposed to go on a retreat with her in April. And the day I bef- was the day before I was supposed to leave, I was diagnosed with COVID. So
yeah,
I didn't get to go, obviously. And was interesting too is the retreat was on Captiva, which is an island right by Sanibel, and they got decimated with Ian. It's like she went down, Nina went down. Her mom has a house in Sanibel, and the retreat was on, right. There's a little island right there called Captiva. So it was on Captiva. So it was between Captiva and Sanibel. So anyway, she went down and she was writing to us, telling us how devastated the islands were. Um,
yeah,
but what ended up happening is because I didn't get to go when she came back, I started a support group with her instead, a year-long support group. In a funny way, it was one of the best things that could have happened. I'm sort of just rambling here, but it makes sense to
right,
me because I could never have gotten in a week what I've been able to explore in a year because the relationship with my body is the most complex entity in my life.
right,
It is the most complicated. Um, there's so much trauma And it's not external, it's the internal, um, ups and downs and every which way. And, she talks about body hatred and body shame. And it's just a whole myriad of complex reactions because I can't walk away from my body the way I walked away from my ex-husband. I walked away from my ex-husband because the relationship wasn't working. I can't walk away from my
Ooh,
body and say, "This isn't working for me. I think it's enough. You're a good person. We just don't do well together, but I think
but
we're done."
well, no, you've got a point there. Think about it. Yes, you really do. Think about it. If you're in a toxic relationship with somebody, you end it and move and get out of it, right? That's how and then we heal. So we do what she calls the repair,
Yeah,
but we stretch that rupture till it's totally broken and we go. I mean, because we can do that not in every relationship, but in many of our relationships. We cannot do that with our body.
I know. I have tried. I have tried and tried and tried and tried. Um, yeah.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little bit of a digression going back a bit, but I find it interesting that you both like found your intelligence as like your future, your virtue or your strong suit or whatever, because I did not do that. I didn't really think I was smart. I still don't think I'm that smart. But it's like, what did I think was my virtue? Like thinking back through childhood and teenagerhood and stuff, I think it was just that I read a lot. I was a reader.
Time out.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
Time out. You're
Good
one of
job.
the brightest people that I
Time out.
know, which is why I brought you in to be a research specialist. See what it says, Siobhan Huggins, research specialist? We gave you that title for a reason.
We had to pick out that title. I think it's just that like I struggle differentiating between being really smart and just doing the work, because when I was a teenager, like my dad would say some people get things intuitively and some people have to work really hard on it, because we were talking about math. And I'm not good at math. Like I don't get it intuitively like my mom does. And he was like, but the people who work really, really hard at something can understand things better than people who get things intuitively. So I always just put myself in that camp. Like I just work hard.
Mm, yeah,
So
but it's something more than that. It's, you know, okay, let me put it this way.
this is becoming a therapy session.
I think of myself as a systems thinker. Ever since I was a little girl, I had to, I was the one that had to take something apart to see what all the pieces were and then put it back together again. It's that kind of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I look for patterns, I look for similarities across different disciplines. So there's a particular way of thinking that I have become very familiar with in myself. What I see in you, I just think is fascinating because you go to places where most people don't go in an exploration of looking for answers to complex problems. So I've seen it in the way that you do the research, which is why it's been fabulous working with you. Gee, this is an interesting what's new and coming up with the I'm not quite sure how this happened,
This
but
is what happens when we structure it right after an introspection course. We just
right.
bring it all here.
Yeah, so it's sort of like this is what we do in our small groups. This is what we do when we get together to meet. It's like we have that kind of exploration that goes to a much deeper place. Which reminds me, I'm going to just do a quick announcement that please save the dates March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd. That is going to be our spring event. And our spring event is called A Fresh Take. We had to look it up to make sure it was what we wanted it to say. A fresh take means here's something new and exciting on lipedema and lymphedema solutions. A
How many
heart,
words is that, Gail?
right now,
19. We already
19,
counted them.
a heart to heart, um,
I'm writing as fast as I can.
a heart to heart collaborative 3-day virtual community event. That
Collaborative is in there. Did you say
Yeah,
it?
collaborative, I did. And that because I like long titles, and so they tease me, but it
A
says what it
fresh take
is.
on lipedema and
It's
lymphedema.
like every time you say the entire title, you're doing that deep belly breathing work as a necessity.
Okay, hold on a minute.
And
Let,
so let me say this about that, which is that we've been going on a trajectory, which to me is, just a gem. It's just a gem. We're spending more and more time in collaborative conversations and inviting everyone who wants to come and be part of that. And so, for those of you who have been around for a while, you have a lot to share. We all have a lot to learn. I've been around a long time and I keep learning, and I invite you to keep learning. But I also invite you to come and to help others along the way. We have a lot of new people coming in. And so we are setting up this spring event as a community event. So, but we have so much good content. It's just so exciting because we have been doing with Dr. Carmody what we call wisdom circles. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to ask Siobhan and Gail to talk about it because they've been deeply involved in it.
Gail, you first.
yeah, that's the youngster in you tapping it up to this age before beauty thing.
I'm just respecting your
Oh,
authority, how long you've been
my
on the
authority.
team.
Okay, so oh my gosh, Catherine, we're
Which is
just a
a joke
little.
because none of us have authority. We all
I
So
avoid authority as much as possible.
we all meander together and find our way is really the truth of it.
oh my gosh, so wisdom circles has actually been exactly that. It's been a very wise circle of people coming together. We it's a year-long project. Anybody who wanted to get involved with it, who was already a member of tribe or our community that we know, joined us. And what we ended up doing was we ended up asking a couple of pretty base questions. What do you know about living with lipedema? What would you like to see in the future? What would you like to know about living with lipedema? And so, very simplistic questions with deep answers. So what we did is we just started. We have this thing called a Miro board. It's like a whiteboard
A
with a
bunch of
bunch of
sticky notes.
with a
Yeah.
bunch of sticky notes, right? Post-it notes,
Hundreds, wait,
hundreds,
hundreds of sticky notes.
right?
We're not talking
Hundreds,
about a few. We're talking about hundreds.
bunches of sticky notes, and they're
Generated by the community.
they're virtual sticky notes. Okay, so this was a an online starting off an online experience, and we just started putting in our little digital sticky notes. Answer. We just kept question. The question would rise up in us, and we'd throw our ideas down, and then a team got together and started organizing all the sticky notes, how they felt it should be organized. and they just kept reorganizing it, and it just kept switching and changing and swirling, and then it came together. It was beautiful. It was like Catherine shows the pictures of the um, swallows. Is that what they're called? Swallows, the birds that fly in the sky, and next thing you know, they got shapes and stuff, because we were all like a collective mind. We came together, and we have this beautiful layout of topics and ideas, and now we're going to break apart us. We're not going to break apart, but the group is going to now gather in smaller groups and start exploring those topics and the questions those topics bring up.
Exactly. Juanetta says murmurations.
Murmurations, yes.
That's what they're called, murmurations. But they're not swallows.
What
Hold
they
on.
were, yeah.
My brain is not what it used to be. Starlings.
Starlings. I knew it started with an S and had
Yeah.
had an L in it.
Yeah.
Bird, feathers.
Bird.
I
starts with an
also have
S.
to say one thing. This is so great. Juanetta says this is like eavesdropping on your staff meeting. It's true.
Yes, it is
Exactly.
actually.
Except that Leslyn isn't here. She's going to a juggling thing.
She's in her beloved Morro Bay.
Yeah, isn't she doing a juggling thing?
She's on a juggling festival or something.
Yeah, she went to a juggling festival. I was
So-
learning juggling, and then I sort of, I have to go back to
So-
my lessons. Anyway,
Yes. So anyway, this thing that we're doing it's a year long, and who knows, maybe it's going to go longer. You never know what's going to happen with it. But that's one of the things that we do. We just keep on moving forward. And I can see here in the people who are online with us, some of them are in the group, like Juanetta and Julie, and so it's always nice to see you come in, and you guys know what we're talking about. So
Yeah. And it's really cool, like, just to add how it started out, because when I saw those initial sticky notes, I was like, how in the world is this going to be organized? This is so overwhelming. But then people just came in and like sorted them into different groups. And now that they're in those groups, they can become projects that actually get worked on. And I've never been like a part of something like that before. So it's really exciting, and seeing them all in their little neat organized piles. Like, oh, I want to work on that one and that one and that one.
that's right. That's my problem too. There's too many decisions to be made. However, the other day I said something to somebody. I'm like, "Hey, do you want me to spearhead this, and then I'll do this, and I'll get this committee together?" And she said, "No." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I don't want you involved with that." It was such a relief because I didn't really want to be involved.
was it chorus?
It was in chorus because I did this crazy thing, said, hey girls, guess what we need? We need new costumes. And they started talking about it, and we got all excited. I said, "Do you want me to spearhead it?" I'm thinking, woohoo, we're going to get new costumes. And the director said, "No, find somebody else to do it." And I was like, so I got a costume selection committee put together. I walked away, and they have 2 weeks to find us a costume. I don't have to worry
Everybody
about it.
clap for Gail. Clap for Gail in chat for delegating and walking away. It's very difficult to do, but
Yes.
it's
And
very
in fact,
useful to have.
Gail always says add hearts. So for wherever
Oh, yeah.
you add some hearts for Gail, because she's always telling us to do that.
Oh, yeah. Add some hearts. I only have one out of the 30 of you who are out there right now. I got one heart. Come on, Julie Rosa, poke that button.
Maybe that was Julie Rosa. How do you know?
Maybe it was. Because anyway, and I wanted to talk about I want to talk about two other things. What time is it? Oh, well, I have enough time.
It doesn't matter.
So one of the things I want to talk about, and Siobhan had said something to me just before I hit go live. She said something about, I can gain a pound or 2 pounds just like overnight. What is that?
3 pounds
3 pounds
overnight.
overnight.
And
And
let me specify that I comment on that for me specifically because that doesn't usually happen. I'm usually at a very steady weight all the time. But lately I've been so stressed out and not perfect with diet, like still keto and stuff like that, but not what I should be doing. And so I'm getting more fluctuations probably because I'm swelling more.
so I did the math the other day for a person who can't figure out why she had fasted all day and had gained weight. And I had to kind of explain to her, you cannot gain fat that fast. We're so concerned that weight on the scale equals fat on our bodies, and it doesn't. It's not a good indicator of fat. And even if it is, if we have fat because we have fat. It's part of our survival mechanisms. And as Siobhan would say, it's not really the enemy, it just is. And so I had to explain something. And this is what I learned. Do you know how much lymph, that's the fluid that goes into your lymph system, how much lymph your body creates each day?
A
This is
lot.
a lot.
Tell
That's
us,
one.
Teacher
No,
Gail.
okay. How much, Catherine? Do you know how much, Catherine?
Well, 85% of the blood, of 100% of the fluid in our body, 85% gets reabsorbed by the venous system, and 15% is becomes lymph fluid. And it's a combination of chyle, which is the digestion of fat, and the other fluids that should be absorbed but don't get absorbed.
Right. And it's approximately, it's between 13 and 14 liters in a healthy body. How much does a liter weigh?
Kilo.
A kilo, right? So think about it. If you have 16 ounces, which is about a liter, correct?
I don't do
A quart.
ounces.
A quart. No, excuse
No,
me.
a liter,
No, a
a
quart is a
liter is
liter.
32 ounces.
Right. So a liter is a quart. And a
Yes.
quart weighs 2 pounds.
2.2 pounds.
Okay. So that's 1 liter. Our body creates 13 to 14 liters of lymph a day. So now let's just think about that a minute. What happens if our lymph isn't flowing as well as it should be? What's going to happen?
That is the issue.
That
Mm-hmm.
is the issue.
That
It's
is
not
the issue.
that we're packing on fat. It's that our lymph is not getting
And
doing its flowing and releasing. So
yeah, but
that's the issue.
Gail, but it's more complex than that.
I know. I know. That's just
But
that's
that's good pointing it out. But the issue is that lymphatic fluid, when it stagnates in the system, it creates not only the swelling that we see, but it creates excessive adiposity. The adiposity is often that lymph fluid that gets. Now I'm getting into one of my things. I'm going to stop right here.
But I will also say that it can contribute to fibrosis or kind of callousing within the tissue as well.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh no, I've gained 3 pounds of fat, but it's something to think about and be like, oh, I don't usually gain this much overnight, so something has happened. And so what I did is I put on my compression and I went on a long walk. It's like, we're gonna
right.
get this moving, and I'm gonna do a self MLD session tonight and just help that because I don't want additional adipose. I don't want additional fat gain. I'm fine where I am, thank you. And I have had an experience of having a lot of swelling throughout the week and then going in for an MLD session, and she does machine assisted cupping, and there was so much more stickiness
Yes.
and fibrosis that had happened, and it's like, that's uncomfortable. I don't want that to happen again. So
Right.
it's good to notice the pattern and then know what to do about it.
Yep.
And then
So
it's not so overwhelming.
I want to say one last thing because we're way over. But I want to say one last thing is that Babs Johnson she just did a wonderful session for Learn last week. I don't know if anybody caught it, on the lymphatic system, and she does lymphatic yoga. She happens to be in Boston. A lot of good people are in Boston. Anyway, she happens to be in Boston, so I talked to her, and I'm bringing her in, and she is going to be doing some of this for us during the event. The event, a fresh take on lipedema and lymphedema solutions, heart to heart, collaborative 3-day community event.
Virtual event.
Real,
A 3-day virtual community event.
19.
real quick, this is completely unrelated. You can say the dates after. But just got word back that the visa waiver has been approved. So my boyfriend is coming to the US. Yay! After 3 years. Okay, now go ahead and say the dates.
Oh, the dates are March 31st, April 1st and 2nd, and wait, more. And there's more. I feel like one of those infomercials. And there's more, which is that Siobhan and Leslyn are representing Lipedema Simplified in the Lipedema Project at Low Carb Denver this year. Low Carb Denver is one of the really, it's the most highly esteemed low carb conference in the country. Dr. Jeffrey Gerber, who is a brilliant doctor, he's presented at a number of our symposiums. Anyway, I had an email exchange with him today. He's offering a discount for
I
the
put it in the comments.
Yep. There's a discount for anybody who wants to. There it is, discount code. There it is.
Yep.
So make sure. Well, I'm going to send out an email on Monday about it, or Tuesday, or Sunday, or sometime in the next few days. So I'll be sending out an email for it so that our community can be there and support Siobhan and Leslyn, and Gail's going to be there, and Jeannie's going to be there, and Gail's husband is going to be there, and Siobhan's boyfriend is going to be there. And is Leslyn's boyfriend going to be there?
I thought he was going, but I'm not sure if he's still going.
I think he might not be going. He was, but then he's not. So anyway.
And let me also just say, it's also celebrating and supporting an event that is giving time to talk about and bring awareness to lipedema, not only for a patient population, but also for a physician population, which is both exactly who we want to be reaching with this information. So it's going to be, the presentation is going to be easy to follow. It's going to have a lot of great information, and it'll be something to talk about, continue talking about in the community, bring it forth. And the other important thing is, if you can't attend in person, then there are also virtual tickets, so you can watch everything live and get to participate that way and get all the information.
Yeah, it's just it's a no-brainer. As simple as that. It's like a no-brainer, go. And I'm thinking, we'll talk about it at our next staff meeting, but I'm thinking of adding a bonus from us for anybody who's signed up for Low Carb Denver.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I'll add some kind of bonus from us, from Lipedema Simplified, so they get a double.
I want a bonus.
Me too. I like bonuses.
I like bonuses.
Okay,
And
we'll
there's a
talk.
gift. I remember when you used to end your webinars with, oh, and I like surprises.
It keeps life interesting.
I want a bonus.
All right,
Oh my gosh.
these are getting to be epic. That's because Leslyn isn't here to rein
I
us
know.
in. She's the one who
Timekeeper.
reins us in, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. Because we're already at 35 minutes and these are supposed to be 20.
Oh, and by the way, I do want to tell people if you listen to my Tuesday broadcasts, I'm trying to start something new and I haven't gotten any responses. So if you love me in the slightest, don't forget that, I mean, even that's much. Don't forget, I'm going to start doing a mailbag on some of my Tuesday lives. So just send me an email. That's Gail at lipedema-simplified.org. You've seen my address. Send it to me. Subject line mailbag, and we'll be
What
reading your stuff. Yeah.
what kind of things are you looking for? Success stories, questions, anything and everything, cool
Yeah,
ideas?
yeah, because all I'm going to be doing is weeding through them and finding what I like. So it's like I'm going to put my address in there. Just say, hey, Gail, I got something for the mailbag. I don't really know how to spell simplified.
Bella wants me to feed her, you guys. That's why
Gail at
she's
Lipedema.
making her presence known.
Okay. Yay, Bella.
Marching across. This is her way of saying it's
She
dinner
is.
time.
Yeah, dinner time, mama. So anyway, it's Gail at lipedema-simplified.org. You could send me a question. You can send me a comment. I don't accept hate mail. But other than that, any love mail, any, hey, this is what I do,
Recipes.
recipes, whatever you want, just send it to me. Just subject line mailbag so that I know that that's what I'm looking at. And I'll start reading those things on the line and discussing it with my guests. Juanetta, I need you as a guest. So
Ooh.
I know I keep reaching out to her. We'll see what happens. With that said, we could go on forever, but now we're past 35 minutes and we are going to sign off. Have a wonderful weekend. And don't forget to come to go listen to Catherine on Sunday on her vlog. Bye,
Oh, yeah.
everyone.
I'll be talking about all this body stuff for weeks and weeks
And weeks and weeks.
and
Bye
weeks.
bye.
All
And
right.
weeks.